Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So glad that you would join me at about 1:40 a.m. on June 26th. I believe this is, June 26th, 2013, as we begin to discuss this topic of people pleasing. People pleasing. I'm sure that most of you won't raise your hand when it comes to asking that question of who does it, who actually does people pleasing. More often than not, there are a lot of people around you that people please. I'm sure people do it to you. I'm sure you've absolutely done it to other people. We can easily get caught up in this thing or with family. We can get caught up with it in our job. I've even saw it happen even in the church. Usually when a person is financially well off or set or in a different bracket, you've seen people make attempts to really please them or try to just to obtain that same favor up on their lives. And so easily you can see yourself there. At times I think that we all have done it, but some more than others. I've seen children uh, please their parents, and that's one of the things we're supposed to do, is obey our parents and things like that, because our parents are in authority to us. But just recently, a very grown adult, I'm 35 years old, a very grown adult that's my same age, decided to change their career path from what their parents had set for them at such an early age. And as soon as they begin to change their career path, you best believe that their parents wrote them out the will and have not spoken to them for over 3 months now. Very serious situation that I am personally praying for the turnaround, because it hurts my heart just to see how up until this point this person could do no wrong, but after they begin to take authority over their own life and say, I'm tired of living this lie, that the parents begin to write them off. And so you have to know that if you are caught up into pleasing another person, as soon as you begin to make attempts to do something different, you might find yourself in a world of trouble. Usually, as long as you are doing what someone else desires that you do, you're fine. But when you begin to take uh, the reins over your own life, when you begin to take authority over your own life, when you begin to make your decisions for your own life, and not necessarily being so caught up into the way someone else feels, then that could be a potential problem. So, who does it? Hey, we all have. We all have. Um, and one of the things is that when it happens, if you are not conscious of it happening, then what happens is it begins to snowball. And if you don't put a stop to it, you will always find yourself doing it over and over and over and over again. That's not a place that you want to be at. That's not a place that you desire to be at, because what happens is that so many people around you, they understand it. They're seeing it, and they may not even mention it to yourself. Just like when you've seen people at your job, okay, you've seen people at your job do this. Like I said, I've seen people at the church do this. Now, whether a person says it or not, they're thinking about it. Some people call it kissing up. Let me tell you something, and this is from my heart. When you have favor with God, when you have favor with God, God will cause you to have favor with man. Even if someone is not necessarily feeling you, God will make your enemies your footstool. God will touch a person's heart that absolutely has nothing to do with you, just so his will can be done in your life. God will cause a man that does not say two words to you, a woman that will not part her lips to speak to you, will cause that person to be the biggest blessing in your life. The reason why I have to say that is the fact of you do not have to people please to get to some of the places that you desire, because whatever is for you is just for you. So, Pastor T. Lake, is people pleasing healthy? Well, depends on who you ask. To be honest with you, person that I know, matter of fact, that absolutely presented this topic to me, they're tired right now. They're tired of pleasing other people. But believe it or not, they do not know how to stop it, because they literally wear themselves out every day from trying to make other people happy. Have you ever met a person like that? They want to make sure everybody's fine, want to make sure everyone's taken care of, and they put themselves last. Now, some some people will call that, well, that's a humble person. That's a great thing to do, and I agree that that's a wonderful thing to do. But let me say this: if you don't look out for you, then no one will look out for you. You must take care of yourself first. You must be happy within yourself. Sometimes in people pleasing, what happens is that people look at others and they see themselves as less than. You remember in elementary, where you have the gator that would eat the greater than, and five and down was less than. And some people, believe it or not, they see themselves as less than other people. And so they make attempts to befriend those that may not even like them, or kiss up to those that may not have anything to do with them. This can be very dangerous, extremely dangerous, because what happens is that you will find yourself being used by others in ways that you don't even desire. Yeah, I know of a situation to where the only time that this person was called is when a group of people wanted or desired to go out, and they were the ones with the car. Never called to see how they were doing, never called to check on them, but only when they had need of them. And guess what? The person was so kind and so nice that because they desired friendship, and that's how they saw it, that every time the call came through, that's exactly what they did. And so they usually found themselves without any gas. As a matter of fact, one time they allowed one of the friends to drive the car, or should I say the so-called friends, to drive the car, and guess what happened? They hit the car. They hit the car against a building and never paid anything for it. And as a matter of fact, the conversation went, well, don't you have insurance? Well, you can get that taken care of. And that person was left heartbroken, because they said, all I ever tried to do was help them out, and they used and abused me. And so what happens is, when you are people pleasing, and it continues to be a reoccurring thing, that eventually you get tired of it. You get sick of it. And once that happens, once your fuse blows, then you're in another dangerous situation. Because depending on how you see things and how you handle frustrations and things like that, it can be a very detrimental situation. So is it healthy? I would think not. Again, it's a wonderful thing to have favor with man, but guess what? More importantly, we should seek favor with God, and God will give us favor with men. How can you put a stop to it? Or how can that person that you know put a stop to people pleasing, something that they've been doing their entire life? How can you put a stop to it? Well, guess what? Just do it. In the scripture in the book of John, the Bible talks about when the wine ran out, that Mary told the disciples to whatever the master said, to just do it. Whatever the master said. Jesus commissioned them to go get 2 barrels. They didn't really understand of water. And she said, whatever he tells you to do, just do it. You can put a stop to it if you want to. There comes a point in your life where you must make attempts to stand up for you. Okay, I mentioned that a few minutes ago. You've got to look out for you first. You can put a stop to it. Okay, you can let the person know who you've been pleasing. Let them know. Listen, this will not happen anymore. I'm totally done with it. If you sincerely like that person as a friend, you let them know, hey, listen, some things are changing in my life. Now, a lot of times is that once you've been doing something for so long, usually that's the only way that people can see you. Okay, so if you've never stood up for yourself, if you just wake up one day and said, today is my day that I'm going to stand up for myself. Today is the day that I will not be used and abused. Today is the day that I will tell a person what I'm really thinking. Okay, because you've always been concerned, or that person has always been concerned of what someone else was thinking or feeling. But today is your day to where you say, I take authority over my own life, and today is the day that I absolutely let someone know how I feel about this particular situation. So you can put a stop to people pleasing if you really want to. One of the things is that you want to do, you want to identify who are those that I continue to please, who are those that I continue to bow down to, who are those that continue to make me feel the way that I do. How many people do you have in your life that every time they come around, you feel your spirit being broken or dampened? Well, this is something that you need to look at, and you need to visit. And guess what? You might be in a situation to where you might not be strong enough. You may not be strong enough to face that person that continues to make you feel less than. You may not be strong enough to face that giant. David had to face Goliath. He was a giant in his life. Okay, some of us have giants in our lives, mountains that we cannot move by ourselves. So after we finish praying about the situation, after we acknowledge, hey, you know what, I've been people pleasing for a long time. After we begin to see that for what it is, then one of the things that I would invite you to do is to get someone that you respect, that does not make you feel less than, that understands your heart, and speak to that person. And if you're not one that can speak up for yourself, You get you a good friend, and you share your heart with them. And if you feel like that you cannot do it alone and facing that giant or facing that mountain or facing that situation or being able to tell a person, listen, I'm not going there anymore. I'm not dancing by the tune of your music anymore. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. If you don't feel that you can do that alone, then you get you a good friend. And you let that friend know, hey, listen, I need help. I need you to help me out with this situation. I want to face this giant, but I don't believe I can face it, him or her, by myself. And I need you to be with me. Okay? I need you to be with me, and all I need you to do is hear if that's what you need them to do. If you need them to speak, let them know that. Because guess what? You are not alone. You are not alone. So many people suffer with these type of situations and never have anyone to turn to in the midst of. But I come by to tell you, you are not alone. So you can put a stop to it. And I believe that today is your day in putting a stop to pleasing everyone else around you. You know, now is the time for you to focus on pleasing God. Okay. Have you ever thought about if you put as much energy into pleasing God as you did to win the favor of someone else? Maybe a relationship, maybe a boyfriend, maybe a girlfriend. Okay. And someone says, well, I'm too old for boyfriends and girlfriends. But maybe that relationship, you did everything that you could to try to make that person happy, and they still weren't happy. Well, guess what? Happiness comes from the inside. But if you put all of that energy that you did to that other person, all of that energy into God, into the things of Christ, into your church, okay, into that business that God has birthed inside of you, into that dream that you know is still there. If you put half of what you did into one of those things that I mentioned, as opposed to how much you tried to win favor from someone else, do you know that you'll be at a much different place than you are right now? And so this is the thing. So we have to look at this thing. We have to analyze this thing. And after we analyze it, we make a decision on this is what I'm going to do with my life. I want you to understand that this is your life. This is your life. Okay? You only have one of them, and you've got to make the best of it. People are always watching you. People are always going to criticize you. People are always going to tell you how you could have done it better. But I come by to let you know that no matter what, God loves you. And no matter what you do, if you went to the right or you went to the left or you dipped or you fell, guess what? You can get back up and you can do it over again. You can start over. You can start all the way over. Now, truth be told, you might have to find some new friends. Truth be told, when you begin to stand up, even amongst your family, because family can be some of the hardest individuals in this life that we have to make a stand to. Okay, family, that's right, because you love them, you love them. We respect them, we honor them. But sometimes family can hurt you worse than anyone else. And so it is that this is your time to begin to stand up for yourself. This is your time to learn how to please God. This is your day. This is your hour. I hope you've gotten something out of this. And again, I welcome your concerns, your criticisms, your comments as far as people pleasing. And I believe that your life is getting ready to change after this. You're coming out. Maybe you know someone. You say, it's not me. It's not me, Pastor. It's not me that's caught up in that. But I've got a friend that's caught up into that. And they seem to be in a revolving door that they can't get out of. That's what they continue to do over and over and over again. If they don't stop, they will become insane with the situation, and eventually it will overtake them to places that they do not desire to go. So I look to hear from you real soon, and I'm getting ready to sign off for the night, and I'll make my next video tomorrow. This is Pastor Timberlake, Pastor T. Lake, signing off. God bless.